This is my new dear friend. Her name is Allison Beck.
Hello.
And she is wise, and she's been through trauma like everybody has. And she is crafting her tools out of her trauma like everybody has to. And Allison and I started talking earlier about this idea of Alzheimer's, and I asked her if she had seen a brain scan, and if she'd seen the brain scan of somebody whose parts of their brain are dead, like people with cerebral palsy or people with Alzheimer's. And so I want to pick that conversation up and try to have it again because, well, what do you remember about our conversation about the dead spots in people with Alzheimer's being created by having to suppress the feelings and memories of trauma?
Mm-hmm.
What did we say? I forget.
Well, yeah, you said that you had this great idea or this great connection about thinking about the effects of repression, emotional repression, traumatic repression on the brain, and the long-term effects of how that can play out, possibly leading to Alzheimer's or similar decaying of parts of your brain. And then I brought up the aspect of like neuronal plasticity and some people being of the growth mindset versus the rigid, restricted mindset. And those who are of the growth mindset are continually seeking out opportunities to learn because they're predisposed to the idea that they can always grow and learn more. And so as they seek those out, their brains are actually making more neuronal connections, allowing for a healthier, more vital, holistic brain map. Whereas those with the rigid, restricted mindset come into the world thinking, this is what I was born with, this is the IQ that I have, yada, yada. I won't be able to really go anywhere from here, so I'm not going to seek out opportunities to learn more, because if I do, it's not really going to make a difference because I am what I am. And that can lead to neuronal decay, because if you're not using a part of your body, as we know, it atrophies. And so linking that also to maybe like a long-term effect of rigid mindset leading to Alzheimer's.
And what do you think about the idea that some things expand our consciousness? So like, what are some of the things that spontaneously expand us and make the neural connections?
For me personally, I find the way that light plays off of different aspects of nature, like staring very deeply into the heart of a blooming flower. Somehow that like remaps parts of my brain, and it feels like I'm getting downloads that then stick. And so I think there are these certain experiences that open us up to spirit, cosmic energy, the life force, whatever it is, and that to me are the greatest moments of expansion that I feel actually stick. And so I think that people have those experiences in many different ways. I also get it when I dance.
When you dance?
Yeah. So when I dance or when I'm being moving, it's almost like the moments where I stop living in my brain and start living in my body, or experiencing life through my body and more deeply connected to my senses. It allows like the mind to open up to life force. And that to me is the like expansion aspects of life. It's then when you start living out of your mind and overanalyzing and all of these things that it starts to feel very constricted.
Very, very one-dimensional, one-directional.
Yes. Yes, Harry Styles, One Direction.
Huh.
You probably won't get that reference.
No. Harry Styles?
Yeah.
Who's Harry Styles?
He's from One Direction. I was just making a joke.
What's One Direction?
It's a very famous pop band.
Oh, really? I've
Yeah.
never heard it. I'd like to, if you can remember to play it.
I'll play you some One Direction.
And so, when I went into the jungle and drank ayahuasca, and I, thank God, had the good sense not to do it with crazy people or people that just wanted money. And they said to me, the ayahuasca was a fountain, one of the fountains of youth. It made you younger and made you smarter. And it certainly expanded my neural plasticity.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing a thing, watching the effects of LSD on the brain. And here it was like reawakening or making all these connections, And when people have lots of connections happen and they're in the street, then there's so much energy, and people say, "Oh, you're crazy," and they call the white coats and haul them off to jail or haul them off to a mental institution where they get knocked out
Right.
and contained. And I am hoping that we can do a series on trances. Like dance is a trance, drums are a trance, toning is a trance, eating is a trance. Yeah, so I think that we can really help kids by helping them be curious. And how can you be curious? Well, you got to be pretty relaxed. I used to get into all kinds of trouble when I was a principal and a teacher, and people would say, "You're not sticking to the curriculum." And I would say to them, "Listen, these kids need something to get them ready for their curriculum.
Yeah.
They need to relax. They need to learn how to pay attention. They need to enjoy themselves. They need to have a sense of humor. They need to move their bodies, and then they'll be ready to learn." And we just traumatize kids by saying, "I don't care what happened in your family last night. We're on page 32. Everybody's on page 32. Well, hello, everybody's not on page 32.
Right.
I can remember going to school. I wasn't even there. I was still last night when I got the crap beaten out of me, or when I watched my mother get hit, and it was like, and yet here I was expected. And so this is what I looked like when I went to school. Disassociated? Hello? I mean, I didn't even notice I had drool running down my mouth. And just to show you what it looked like. And there are pictures of me. I'll try to find them. In school, looking like... Well, guess what happens to kids who look like that? Scares other kids because they look like that and they know and they're embarrassed, so they beat you up if you look too different. But I was so out of it, I couldn't even pretend to look like other kids until I got drunk, and then I learned to fake it. And I just would walk around like I was tough as nails and wide awake and all that kind of stuff. It was all an act. But at least people stopped beating me up and started being frightened of me. So, anything else on this topic?
No, I'd say in terms of, I think regardless of whether in school and any part of life, we're all showing up on different pages. And I think that it's difficult in our modern society. We're not given tools to contend with that, or how to bring everybody through. And I think that's when invocation and ritual and ceremony are very important to imbue and make part of our daily lives, especially in school. If home period wasn't listening to stupid announcements, but rather everybody holding hands and singing Kumbaya or something, to drop into the present moment and all recognize and acknowledge that we're coming from different places and have had different experiences, whether it was the night before, whether it was 3 years before, that are affecting our ability to show up in the present time.
Like Shabbat dinners.
Like Shabbat dinners.
Do you know what Shabbat dinners are? Jews for the last, how many years? 5,000, big numbers, years, have practiced this wonderful ritual. And I practice it, my own version of it, because I'm not Jewish. And it's at sundown on a Friday night. That's sacred time. And the family and friends get together and they light candles. There's the fire element. They drink a little wine. That's the kind of healing energy of alcohol. Not too much, just a little bit. And they break bread.
Give prayers to the light, to the food, to the wine.
Do you know the prayer?
I mean, I've said it before. I don't know it by heart now.
How does it go? Yeah, right. We'll have to do one. So, and everybody sits around a dinner table as dressed up as they can be, and the food is the best that they can afford, and they have a meal together, and they laugh a little bit, cry a little bit, whatever comes up. And it's a time when their spirits can come in and they get expanded, but they know that they're collected. And I don't know if there's a period where everybody says, well, this check-in, I think it's called now, where you say where you're at and what you've been up against. And everybody listens and goes, ooh, yeah, great, or whatever it is. But you know you're not alone. And you're expanding your consciousness. You're saving your brain from getting Alzheimer'd. So please add your video on any of these topics, and get to that rickgagey.com website that Ben Gadbois put together, and maybe there'll be something there on how you can link your contribution to this line of thinking. And Allison, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
So much.
And I salute your bravery for coming out.
Thank you for seeing me and allowing me to be here. I love you.
You're smooth, you're smooth. And you're real. Yay, real.
Yay.
Yay, real. And that's another thing we can give our kids. Let's be real. And I'm going to say it, and I don't know how this will fit in, but, when parents come, like they come and they'll talk and stuff, and we'll try to give them good energy and open them to this wonderful healing place. And I say to them, well, look at, it's good that you're having a fight in front of the kids. Because the most important part of a fight is how you stop and how you make up. How fast can you make up? How fast can you get back to love and connection and laughter and expansion? Because the fighting that's all constriction. And kids have to learn how to constrict, and then how to say, whoops, I'm constricted. I'm denying, I'm pretending, and I'm choosing trances that numb me out, and rather take trances that wake us up. And so, isn't that a nice... I learned that one in the jungle too. Anyway, so thank you, and add yourself to expanding. Okay, bye.